Patriots will receive. Joe Nedney, the rookie, to kick it off with the wind at his back. Dave Meggett on the goal line for New England. A sidewinder that comes into the end zone, and Meggett, the veteran, will take the touchback at the 20. Drew Bledsoe. When he completes 60% or more, the Patriots win, and that's been the goal. Accuracy this year. Bill Parcells stated that at the start of the year. The perennial Pro Bowler Bruce Armstrong, William Roberts, Dave Woolabaugh, Todd Rucci, and Max Lane, the offensive line. In the backfield with Bledsoe, Curtis Martin, the top rusher of a year ago, and again leads in rushing. Sam Gash, the blocker. Jefferson with the speed. Glenn apparently has all the tools, and Ben Coates, not many better than Coates at tight end. Gets a couple to the 22-yard line into the white jerseyed Miami Dolphin defense. Gardner with a tackle, and Daryl Gardner, the rookie from Baylor, on that defensive line. Teams with Trace Armstrong, Tim Bowens, Daniel Stubbs has 7 sacks. The linebackers, Collier, he's playing hurt. Zach Thomas, the rookie who was named the NFL Defensive Rookie for the month of October. Singleton, Buckley and Jackson at the corners, and the maligned Oliver and Wooden at safety. That back four really been much too loose in their coverage. 2nd and 8. Bledsoe spurs past the Colts, and what a catch by the big tight end. 13 yards on a one-handed stab.
The Miami defensive secondary, Terrell Buckley up top, number 27 against Ben Coates. They say they want to be aggressive today. He's all over the receiver, but Ben Coates, with his size, able to make the catch.
Terrell Buckley plays this absolutely perfect, except he doesn't knock the ball down. You've got to go try to knock the ball down and not try to intercept it.
Or like suction cups those hands of Coates. Martin hit in the backfield and dropped for a loss of 2. Stubbs penetrating for Miami.
One thing, Phil, when you look at Miami's defense now, what do they have to do? You know that New England wants to try to run the ball, but they can't.
Well, that's right. So they're going to play tough defense, and Jimmy Johnson, like you said, Paul, we're going to take some chances with the corners today. Be aggressive, try to make some big plays. We might give up a couple big ones, but let's go ahead and play on the edge more. That, and they need a pass rush in obvious passing situations against New England.
On 2nd and 12, the draw play. It doesn't fool the Dolphins. Martin dropped for another yard loss by Armstrong and Gardner.
Now, with the wind, you would think that you'd want to throw short passes. That's what they did to Coates. But now take a look at Zach. This is the guy we're talking about. Zach Thomas, 54. He comes in. Gardner makes the play, number 92. And Zach Thomas is in again.
Zach Thomas wants a little revenge today. Last week, the Dallas Cowboys blocked him all over the field. Jimmy Johnson says he'll come back today and play well.
The rookie from Texas Tech looks at 3rd down 13 against the Patriots. Bledsoe hurries his throw to the flat. It's Troy Brown trying to get to the first down sticks and comes up a yard shy. A 12-yard effort from Brown with only his 5th catch of the year. Tim Bowens, trailing the play, saved the first down for Miami.
Well, it's a situation like this. Calvin Jackson up top coming in on the blitz. 3rd and long. Go ahead and blitz and make the offense throw the ball fast. Nobody picks him up. This happened in week 1 down in Miami. The Miami Dolphins came from the outside. Nobody was picking up the blitzers.
Tom Tupo leads the league in punts inside the 20. You saw with his effort. Check that, it's John Kidd who leads, and Tupo closely behind that spot. Had a great game against Buffalo and into the wind. Lands it at the 5, and just like a wedge shot, kills it at the 6. Otis Smith covers. A great kick by Tupa. 49 yards, no return. So Miami's offense takes the field in tough field position at their own 7-yard line. Tupa, former quarterback at Ohio State, and making a pretty good living as a full-time punter in an emergency or a 3rd string quarterback here in New England.
So one thing about him, though, Dick, he's not a bad thrower. Tupa.
Marino has lost to the Patriots only once in the last 7 years. Abdul-Jabbar for a yard, and that's all. Into the teeth of the New England defense. Let's introduce The Miami Dolphins offensively. Richmond Webb and Keith Sims, who have been together for 7 years on the left side. Tim Ruddy, Gray, and Brown, the offensive line. Marino, the quarterback. The all-rookie runners, Abdul-Jabbar and Pritchett. Randall Hill and O.J. McGuffey, wideouts. And Troy Drayton playing on a gimpy knee. Did not warm up well, but he starts at tight end. Wearing a brace. Marino's first throw. Steps up down the sidelines and finds Hill. Is he inbounds? No. Covered by Jimmy Hitchcock and Willie Clay. Good catch by Randall Hill, but his momentum took him out of bounds.
Well, the ball drifts and that pulls him out of bounds. There's 1 foot. He can't get the second foot down that's on the line. Now, Phil, when you look at this here, you're seeing Marino throwing the ball. They would like to run the football, right?
Well, they talk about running the football, Paul, but I really believe if you want to, then start out throwing the football through the Miami offense and get New England's defense thinking about pass, and then you run the football.
Well, that second replay looked like Hill might have just gotten his toe down inbounds. Third down, the quick throw incomplete to Juris McPhail, and the New England defense has held.
Well, that time they just came, and Marino had no time to even set up any kind of a screen, and I think that's what they were trying to run.
Well, John Kidd, averaging 47 plus. He is currently number 3 in the league. And Dave Meggett, always dangerous, back at the 41 of New England. Wind at the back of Kidd. Meggett, 45. Spin move doesn't work, and the flag goes down. Jimmy Hitchcock makes the block for Meggett. 48-yard punt, 4 on the return, and Larry Izzo, the rookie from Rice, the tackler.
I can never understand what takes these guys so long. Here's the guy that threw the flag. Say who you threw it on and what the penalty is. It's very simple, isn't it?
Illegal block. Number 31 on the return. 10 yards.
Oh, Hitchcock, 31 with the penalty.
Number 31. Now, see that? You see the guy's name, and he really was trying to pull off. That's a bad call because Hitchcock was trying to pull away from him, and the tackle was already made.
Bill Parcells in his 4th year here in New England, and after his early success, had this part of the football country excited about the Patriots' future. Sobered a bit last year, 6-10, but has his team hot now, winning 5 of the last 6. Drew Bledsoe starts from the 37. Perfect throw, complete to Terry Glenn, who has a first down at the Miami 48. 14-yard play.
Now that was too easy. That was too easy.
Well, it was a good job by New England spreading the field, and look when Drew Bledsoe, when he drops back, he knows Terry Glenn. You have a linebacker covering Chris Singleton. That is a matchup you like. But again, this Miami defense, they cannot be very confident their pass defense. So throw the football at them. They'll let them keep thinking they're struggling because they are.
Keith Byers, the former Dolphin, has what appears to be about 9 on that throw to the 39-yard line. Byers, who caught 7 in the win against Buffalo last Sunday night. We're in Foxborough, and we welcome those of you who have seen the Cincinnati Bengals rally to beat Baltimore 24-21. Jimmy Johnson's Dolphins and Bill Parcells' Patriots at it here. 5 minutes gone in the opening quarter, no score, but New England has moved to a 2nd and 1 at the Dolphin 39. Bledsoe handing off to Martin, and Curtis Martin to the 36. That'll be a first down. Stubbs and Thomas collaborate on the stop.
Zach Thomas, again, Jimmy Johnson told us he had a bad game last week, and he really felt bad about it. He said he's going to be better this week. Look at this. He takes on the guard and steps up and makes a tackle. That's pretty good defense. But Phil, let me ask you a question. For 2 plays, the Patriots come out, they run the wide receiver off, and they bring Byers one time and Glenn the other time underneath with linebacker coverage. They've got to get Miami's got to get out of it.
Well, there's not much they can do, Paul. The wide receivers are going outside. They're putting a receiver in the slot. So you're really isolating those linebackers, making Miami spread its defense, and that's the reason it's easy to throw it out in the flats for those easy completions.
Dale Hamer, the referee, comes to the sidelines. Some difficulty with the chain. And as they work on their link, we'll go to our on the field link. Jim?
Well, Dick, the problem with the chains is the bottom part of the chain came undone, so they got to get a wrench down here to try and fix this because he can't stretch out the 10 yards on the chain link here.
Here's an organization that's worth $180 million, and they don't have a chain.
Well, Jim's kind of a handyman. He should get in there and help him out.
He only works on the serious problems. This is just peanuts for him.
No, you know what he's doing? Jimmy's down there telling him what to do. I mean, he won't do it himself, but he'll tell you what to do. He knows how to tell you.
Well, the ball at the 36-yard line. Back to the official business, and it's a first down for Parcells Patriots. Ben Coates, the tight end, sent way out to the right in this formation. Glenn inside him. Deep drop on Bledsoe, and he throws underneath to Martin, and Curtis Martin has another first down at the 21. 15 more.
Well, the Miami Dolphins, we heard so much about it. Last week they played a soft defense. Again this week they're starting out with that soft defense. New England runs everybody out away from the football, and Curtis Martin comes underneath. There's nobody there to cover him. A lot of space. Miami so far has not taken a chance with their pass defense, playing soft still.
Martin with 645 yards rushing coming in, and that's his 21st catch. A good all-purpose performer. Bledsoe is 5 for 5. This time hands off to Martin. Breaks a tackle. And finally dropped after a gain of nearly 5. Sean Wooden.
The guy that makes this play work really is Sam Gash, because he gets out on Chris Singleton and just nicks him enough. Watch this. Here comes Sam Gash. What, he just gets a piece right there. Doesn't block him well, but gets enough so Curtis Martin can get back to the outside.
Second down, they call it 6. There's Gash from Penn State. Doesn't get the carry very often. In fact, only 6 times all year. Glenn, well covered by Singleton.
You know, Dick, we're sitting there watching Singleton. He's been in on every single play in this series. I mean, he's got to be saying to himself, wait a minute, give me some help somewhere. Hey, gotta go sit down. He's tired.
Singleton from the University of Arizona, #1 pick, as Patriot fans will recall, by New England in 1990. Bill Parcells and Singleton didn't hit it off. Parcells released him, and now started with Miami. Dave Meggett comes in on 3rd down. Again, Meggett open. Meggett driving for a touchdown or not. No signal yet. He's right at the goal line. What an effort by Meggett. It'll be 1st and goal, New England, inside the 1.
Again, the New England Patriots bringing everybody out down the field. Dave Meggett sneaks underneath. There's nobody to account for Dave Meggett coming out of the backfield. And what a job he does after he catches it.
Oh, he actually fumbled and hit the sidelines. That could have been a touchback Miami. That was close to disaster for Meggett. Byers in motion, 1st and goal. Touchdown. Ball was loose, but it had crossed the goal line as Martin gives New England the lead.
Sam Gash is just leading up, and Martin goes up over the top. Now, that ball comes out soon. I'm going to tell you, that there's another one was a fumble. The one before, Dick, the reason that ball was blown dead right where it was, because it hit the pylon, and the pylon is out of bounds.
John Burke recovered for New England. That was so close, it might be interesting to see if Martin was over. Vinatieri, who has missed 3 extra points, is good on that one, and it's 7-0. Let's take a look at the touchdown again. Did Martin break the plane?
It looks like as Martin's getting ready to jump, the ball's coming out. Now here's Martin. He's going to try to make the jump. Here's the ball. The ball is out. The question is, was the ball across the goal line before that thing came out? Now here is Martin. Is the ball at the line? I'm going to tell you what, that is about as close as I'm going to get. That is a fumble, but New England still recovers the ball in the end zone anyway.
Tight end John Burke, number 85, saves the day for the Patriots. Burke, just a spectator. It was fumbled before he hit the goal line, and then Burke sees the friendly roll for New England.
Zach Thomas made the hit before Curtis Martin crossed the goal line. But in the official's opinion, he did cross before it was a fumble.
Yeah, if you look at the bottom of the screen, you will see the official put his hands up. So he had already declared, look at the bottom of the screen, forget where the ball is, forget all this stuff. You'll see the official come in, and he puts his hands up. He has already called the touchdown.
You don't see it from that angle, but that was the case.
There it is, right here at the bottom of the screen. He's already given him the touchdown, so the ball is free.
Well, it appears from our angles that he had not broken the plane, but that's all academic, as New England covered it anyway, and now Vinatieri to kick it off. Jarris McPhail and Irving spikes deep for Miami into the wind. You can see it cut down that kick. Plenty all the way to the 16. Thomas and the big linebacker. Thomas getting a chance to rumble. It's Miami's ball, but first let's go to New York for an update.
Dick, this is how the game ended in Dallas, with the Cowboys threatening. Troy Aikman under pressure, intercepted in the end zone by James Willis. He laterals to Troy Vincent. And when all is said and done, the Eagles convert about a 103-yard return for a touchdown to put the finishing touches on a 31-21 win. The Eagles beat the Cowboys in Dallas. Dick?
Boy, Ray Rhodes' Eagles are 7-2. Dallas drops to 5-4. Here at 7-0 New England. At the 32, Marino sets. Throws down the middle, incomplete to Drayton. Troy Drayton, and it didn't look as if he had really completed his pattern. He was just kind of sitting out there and hoping he could get to it.
Well, we watched Troy Drayton warm up today. He has a problem with his right knee. He missed last week's game, and he hobbled all around the field trying to warm up. Couldn't run full speed, and here's a good example of it. Perfect throw by Dan Marino, but he's not able to get to it.
But Marino and the Dolphins are doing exactly what you just said at the beginning of this game. We're going to pass the ball downfield and open it up so we can run it.
Randall Hill right, O.J. McDuffie in motion. Completes it. And it's Troy Drayton, and Drayton close to a first down at the 41-yard line. Lawyer Malloy, the rookie from Washington, makes the tackle.
Well, his knee might be hurt, so Jimmy Johnson says, we'll get it loose. We're going to make you run a little and get this thing going. We're going to make you forget about that knee, but really a good job by Drayton outrunning Lawyer Malloy across the field and getting some yards.
I like what Phil said to Jimmy, but isn't Drayton hurt? Jimmy said, yeah, but he's going to play anyway.
That's right.
He'll play anyway.
3rd and 1. Picks up the first down as he crosses the 45. Ty Law and Willie Clay on the hit.
You know what's amazing? When you have a fullback that goes slightly in motion and you watch the defense, how much the defense gets attracted to him. And they're looking at the fullback because they know that Pritchett probably isn't going to carry the ball, but the runner's going to be behind him. And what Abdul-Jabbar did was say, that's fine. You go in there and I'm going to go outside.
Abdul-Jabbar with 6 touchdowns rushing for Miami. And of course, he had a very impressive debut in the win against New England on opening day. He leads all the rookie runners in the league in touchdowns made coming in today. First down for Marino. Into the flat to Abdul-Jabbar. He crosses the 50. And at the 48-yard line where Jimmy Hitchcock makes the tackle, no fumble. 6 yards on the play.
But Jimmy Hitchcock felt that he just stole the ball from Abdul-Jabbar.
Hitchcock starting for the injured Ricky Reynolds at the corner.
All right, here comes Hitchcock, 31. Now look at this. Does he steal the ball? No, Jabbar is down. Here it is here. Number 33 is Jabbar. Here comes the ball. The ball is out. I'm going to tell you what. We've seen 3 questionable fumbles so far in this first quarter.
Jabbar smothered Todd Collins, and others make the hit.
Well, this is the first time this year either team has really played in cold conditions where the wind is blowing, and that football gets a little hard and slick, and it's caused for fumbles and drop passes in days like today.
Well, in your giant heyday, Phil Sim, it just seemed when you got to November, your team became even tougher.
Well, we could run the football, Dick, and they'd call on me about every other quarter to throw a pass, so it was a little different. Neither one of these teams is strong enough or big enough just to come out and line up and run the football on them.
3rd and 3. Marino shotgun. 4 wide receivers. To the sideline, Lamar Thomas at the 20, and the former University of Miami star is to the 15. Willie Clay gets him down after a 32-yard play.
Well, this is where Hitchcock is going for the interception, Phil.
He's going for the interception. Up top, you'll see Hitchcock against Lamar Thomas, and it's actually very good coverage by Hitchcock's, but Dan Marino steps up in the pocket and throws a strike out there. Jimmy Hitchcock, we talked about it. He took a gamble, tried to go for the interception, and he lost this time.
We're going to get back with Dick, but was that the perfect pass? You can see that? That's the perfect pass.
And he had to play the wind, which is blowing toward that sidelines. To the 11-yard line, Ted Johnson, the middle linebacker, in on the tackle. Of course, the whole theme in the training camp for Jimmy Johnson, we are going to run the football. In the first 3 games, they certainly did. And they won all 3. But they've only won 1 of the last 5, and here's why. 2.7-yard average, only 3 touchdowns. It's like David Copperfield is coaching the running game here. It's disappeared.
Season, they caught a few teams by surprise because they were so adamant about running the football.
Abdul-Jabbar hits the sidelines. Ted Johnson in hot pursuit after a 4-yard gain. McInnes was there as well.
And of course, when Dan Marino was out for those few games, then all the defenses said, we're going to stop the running game. You're going to have to beat us throwing the football.
Exactly. I mentioned something about the perfect pass when Marino just threw the ball over there, and I said he said to us yesterday, Marino, there's no defense against the perfect pass, and he says, I throw the perfect pass.
That's right. He's thrown a lot of them over his career.
Ball at the 7. 3rd down and 3. Jarris McPhail in the backfield with Marino. McPhail on a sweep. Great speed. Close to the first down at the 4. Lawyer Malloy made the hit.
Boy, you were right. You talk about great speed. He just showed his speed to get back to the outside. When they pull, look at Simpson. He pulls to the outside. They let the linebacker go by. When they do that, they already know McPhail's going to beat the linebacker, so Simpson gets downfield to knock down a defensive back.
Chris Slade has a chance to come up the field and make the play, but Jarris McPhail, the fastest guy in the Dolphins team, able to get outside and pick up some valuable yards.
And Jarris McPhail, who took that hit from Malloy, injured on the play. They measure just shy of the first down by inches. So 4th and inches for Miami, and Jimmy Johnson says we're going to go for it.
Yeah, I don't think this is time to be looking at field goals. If you can't get 2 inches with this offensive line, with Webb and Sims on that side, you've got to go that. You going that way?
Well, yeah, that way, but also, Paul, you're the Miami Dolphins. You know you're going to need a lot of points probably to win this game today. So you can't be settling for 3 points on 4th and inches when you're down near the goal line.
Their biggest back, Robert Wilson, 255 pounds, number 49, comes in as a wing. And diving high is Abdul-Jabbar. It'll all depend on the mark. They mark it at the 4, and that'll be a first down.
They marked it at the 3.5, and that'll be a first down.
Referee Dale Hamer has not given an official signal yet, but I guess they're going to bring in the chain gang.
I got the laughing though, Dick. We talked to Parcells about his 4th down this year. I don't think they made any. I mean, he gets nailed every time. He's, well, I'm protecting my kicker. Not anymore, I'm not.
And he said he told the team, no more going for it on 4th down. We're going to kick the field goal and try to get some points.
By the length of the ball, a first down for Miami. 1st and goal, trailing 7-0 here in the opening quarter.
It's a good surge by the Miami offensive line, pushing back, giving the Karim Abdul-Jabbar room to jump up and try to get over the pile and just get a couple inches for the first down.
Good job by Todd Collins to meet him in midair. But Abdul-Jabbar just enough. Second and goal for Miami. And we welcome those of you who have seen the Chargers with an upset at Indianapolis, 26-19 behind Sean Salisbury, as the Colts, Harbaugh intercepted 4 times in the first half. Here it's 7-0 New England, but Miami has its second and goal at the 4-yard line, the 12th play of a drive that started at the Miami 33. Touchdown, Miami.
I'll tell you what, you're seeing a Miami Dolphin team, and a year ago you would have never seen them do this. You get down there on the goal line or down the 4-yard line, they'd have been throwing the ball at least 3 of the downs, and then kicking a field goal. Here they come out, they get first down here, and they run it twice.
It's an excellent job. Stanley Pritchett, number 36, comes over, goes the outside, makes the defense think you're going outside with the run. Karim Abdul-Jabbar sees daylight inside, cuts it up, easy touchdown.
The rookie from UCLA, 7th touchdown rushing this year. Nedney's try for point. Off John Kidd's spot, and it's 7-all. Dan Marino leads Miami back into a tie. 7-all, 1:27 left in the quarter. And he couldn't understand why he couldn't catch any lobster. He had the line and everything out there in that pond, but maybe next time.
They're not biting like they used to.
7-all as Abdul-Jabbar has evened the count. Nedney to kick to veteran Dave Meggett. Meggett had a couple of big returns in the earlier Miami game. Nedney with the wind at his back, although it's not blowing as strongly, 20 miles an hour mid-afternoon, now down to about 15, maybe 10. Meggett. The tackle, the little guy from Towson State, out to the 34-yard line. We'll take a break. 1:15 left in the first quarter.
This is the NFL on NBC.
For those of you who have joined us from the first half of our NBC doubleheader, here's the New England touchdown. Could have been controversial. Curtis Martin is tackled, loses the ball outside the goal line, although it was called a touchdown. A moot point, however, is that John Burke, 85, fell on it anyway in the end zone. 7-all from the 34.
Watch!
Curtis Martin with a flag down on 5 yards if Zach Thomas to make the tackle, and it'll come back.
I always wonder how.
Well, they go shift. 2 men moving on the offense.
How
5
you
yards.
have a timeout, you're on the sideline, you're talking to the quarterback,
Yeah.
you know the play, he's out there, he waits for our commercial, he stands, he tells his whole team, and then they have two guys in motion at the same time.
Well, Keith Byers is moving, and you can see Curtis Martin, number 28, stepping forward. Well, he had to wait too long, Paul. He's anxious. He wants that football.
Yeah.
Stand around too long like that, you make those kind of mistakes.
Pay attention during the timeouts.
So first down 15 for Drew Bledsoe. Very impressive on the touchdown drive. He was 5 for 6. Being chased, but gets it away to Meggett, and Meggett able to struggle forward to the 34-yard line. Shane Burton made the tackle. It was Aaron Jones pressuring Bledsoe.
Man, I'm going to tell you, I'd like to know how this defense works. They had Dwight Hollier, number 50, covering on Ben Coates man-to-man.
But also number 97, Aaron Jones, the defensive lineman, they had nobody blocking him. And Drew Bledsoe, something he's done very well this year, moving around a lot more than he ever has in the past, getting rid of the football and making some positive plays. Keith
Byers, the former Dolphin, in motion. And hit in the backfield is Meggett as slicing through is Zach Thomas. And what a rookie find he has been. 5th round, the 154th player selected. Zach Thomas has played terrific football this first half of the year. And that's the end of the opening quarter here in Foxborough. The Dolphins, the Patriots, 7-all. Welcome back to Foxborough. Dick Enberg along with Paul McGuire, Phil Simms, Jim Gray. Look at the quarterback comparisons, and Bledsoe missing on only one pass. Working against his idol as a kid, Dan Marino. Bledsoe goes long. Sean Jefferson unable to come back in time as Zach Thomas put the heat on Bledsoe.
Boy, did Bledsoe take a shot just as he was throwing the ball. Zach Thomas.
It's a blitz. Tim Jacobs, the secondary guy, comes from the outside, occupies the blocker. Zach Thomas sees an opening, and this man can run and make a decision and get to a player when he wants to.
Sean Jefferson can attest to that after the hit he took down in Miami in game 1. Tupa to kick it with O.J. McDuffie back at the 22. He drives it. McDuffie at the 16. Has some room on the sidelines. Run out at the 35. 52-yard punt, 19 on the return. Timeout. It's tied at 7.
I'd hate to be going out there trying to beat these Dolphins with you at quarterback today. 42 years old, huh? Same as your completion percentage. Happy birthday anyway.
Oh, that ain't even fair. Little ambush. Well, I only completed 42% because I was running that archaic offense of his. So there, Bill. Oh,
you know what? If Bill Parcells has 3 daughters, you're the son that he didn't have. Boy, does he really cares about
We
you.
were out at practice Friday. It was very cold, and of course I wasn't dressed for it. And we're freezing. He looks over at me, and I'm standing there, and he goes, "Oh my gosh." She goes, "You are soft." He says, "You're softer than Carvel ice cream."
It's tied 7-all on Sim's birthday, so at least we know how old he is. All the media guides were confused. He took so many years off while he was playing. Abdul-Jabbar sprinting to the outside.
Did you ever do that, Paul, in your day? You know, whenever you come back after a season, just tell the media guy, don't add that year this year. Just make me a little younger. Just take one off. Take a couple off.
Hey, let me tell you something. If you've seen this face in his body, you can't hide your age.
That's right.
Hey, pretty good names. Nagurski, Feller, Rojakis, Holmes, Roseanne, and Sims. Celebrate birthday today along with our partner. 2nd down and 4.
But I always look young next to Paul McGuire. That's important.
Keep him in the booth. Keep him in here. Abdul-Jabbar squeezing through a small hole. Piosaga Pulitelli make the tackle, and down to Jim Gray.
All right, Dick, the news is not good for Jarris McPhail of the Dolphins. He has a potentially fractured left wrist, according to Kevin O'Neill, the trainer for the Dolphins, and he will not return today. He's being x-rayed right now.
And one of the legion of rookies on this Jimmy Johnson team, McPhail, lost apparently for the rest of the day. First down, Miami just across the 50 early in the 2nd quarter. Workhorse is Abdul-Jabbar. He gets a couple.
Dick, let's go back. Let's go back to the first quarter, the first possession of the Miami Dolphins. Marino throwing the ball down the field has opened this thing up. They're running. They're attempting to run the football. Now, they picked up the last first down running the ball, and they seem to be doing a pretty good job at it.
But also they're going into the wind now, so they were trying to take advantage, I think, in the first quarter, having the wind to your back, try to get some big plays.
They've rushed as a team for 34 yards on 12 tries, a little better than their average the last 5 games. Blitz picked up, good throw, and a first down to Charles Jordan, only his 5th catch all year, the former Raider and former Packer, and what a throw by Marino.
The perfect pass again. He throws this ball before Jordan makes the move, and Marino knows it. When Jordan is making this move, the ball is now in the air. Watch this. As he turns, here's the ball now. I mean, that's the perfect throw.
It is, and you saw Dan Marino smiling after the play was over because the blitzers are coming free. He has to step back there on his back foot, throw it sidearm, and he throws a perfect pass.
Another first down, Dolphins at the 39. Abdul-Jabbar outside and hit at the 36, a flag down in the backfield, right where Stanley Pritchett had thrown the block and apparently took a piece of the New England defender with it. Let's talk a little more about Marino. One of the things that
holding number 86 to the offense, 10 yards, first down.
Brett Carroll holds Chris Slade, number 53, at the end of the line of scrimmage. You could see him pulling on the jersey. Once you put that hand outside the shoulders of the defender, the referee will almost always call holding.
Keith Byers, when we talked about Miami, his former team yesterday, Marino's the most confident player that I have ever seen by far. He said, no defense for a perfect pass, and I can throw a perfect pass, is the way Marino operates. Right there for Pritchett to the 40-yard line to get back about the 10 they lost on the penalty. Confidence, cockiness, all qualities you'd want in your quarterback?
The greatest quality you could ever give a quarterback is to have the confidence of a Dan Marino. And I've always said, and I mean this as a compliment, he's never thrown an incompletion or an interception that was his fault. Because he just doesn't believe he can do no wrong. So when he does make a mistake, it doesn't wear on him. He comes back out in the field still feeling good, and he can create positive plays because of that.
Second down and 11. Marino steps away from trouble. And now trying to get it loose. No flag down. Fans want grounding. Johnson and McGinnis were all over Marino.
But they said he was hit as he was throwing the ball. The other thing about this guy, Dan Marino, that when it starts with his father. Now you see the replay now, and here comes Marino. He's going to step up. He feels Slade right there. He steps up. Now watch what he does. He pumps. Now he just throws. He knows he's going to get hit. There's nobody out there, but he throws the ball away. That's smart. But this goes all the way back to his father, though, Dick. He used to send him messages all the time. What? Confidence. You have to have confidence in yourself.
They looked at us with those blue eyes last night and said, yeah, I expect to throw a perfect pass every time. That's why I'm being paid so well. On 3rd and 11. Hit as he throws, incomplete. Covered by Hitchcock as Lamar Thomas. Flag is down, and Hitchcock can't believe it.
Well, Lamar Thomas went to the official on the side and started complaining, but he didn't throw the flag. The flag came from way downfield, and they called pass interference on Hitchcock there.
Or holding. Either way, it's going to be
holding.
A first down.
Number 31 of the defense, 5 yards, first down.
So on 3rd and 11, the 5-yard hold gives Miami new life.
Well, you can see his hands on the defender, and as he breaks out, look at that right hand. Had a hold of the jersey. The official standing behind him, you could see that right hand on the jersey. That's why he got caught.
First down on the penalty marked at the 35-yard line. Hitchcock again playing at that corner for the injured Ricky Reynolds. He's in his 2nd year out of North Carolina.
He's only got 10 guys on the field, I think. And that's what Marino's upset about. Jimmy Johnson was trying to get somebody in the game. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 guys. That's all they have. He is really upset because look, we only have 10 guys. We need a guy. Give me somebody.
Confident, and that could be contagious, that kind of attitude. Jimmy Johnson's reaction. He knew there were only 10 in the field, and O.J. McDuffie didn't make it. First down at the 35. And 15 more for the Dolphins before Chris Slade can drag him down along with Willie Clay.
Now that was a perfect run. I mean, what Karim Abdul-Jabbar did on this play is he finds the hole.
Excellent job up front. You can see Willie McGinnis, number 55, getting blocked to the outside. And Jimmy Johnson has told us so many times about Karim Abdul-Jabbar. This cow will see the daylight, find the hole. Just everybody stay in their blocks, and he'll pick the right place to run the football.
Picked in the 3rd round as Johnson had a sensational draft. Many have documented that. Marino changing plays. World of time, and finally hits his man O.J. McDuffie on the sidelines. Ty Law, the defender, at the 15. We hope you'll follow the NFL on NBC Online at NBC.com/sports. This week we give midseason reports on the teams, in-game scoring updates, digital playbooks. Plus, our weekly poll question asks, which Super Bowl winning coach deserves the most credit for his team winning the championship? It's all at NBC.com/sports. 10 minutes left in this first half. 7-7 the score. Second down and 4 for Marino. Abdul-Jabbar dancing his way and picks up a couple where it seemed there wouldn't be much there at all. Lawyer Malloy makes the tackle.
Lawyer Malloy. You know, Abdul-Jabbar is one of those backs that's, even though he's a rookie, he's very patient. You know, a lot of backs will just take it and I'll go here, and if the ball's out there, what difference does it make? He'll wait. He is a very patient runner.
You can see he's averaged only under 37 yards a game the last 5. Well, he has 50 yards in this first half today, and that's what you were talking about. Paul McGuire have to get back to the run. Miami, that's what helped them to get off to the fast start this year, 3-0. Third down, a long one. And Abdul-Jabbar just threading his way, stepping on his own men, and the Patriots down to the 10-yard line, going to be close.
If it touches the line, they've got the first down.
Looks like it's just nose of the ball tickling that 10-yard line. It is first down and goal. Abdul-Jabbar out of UCLA, the 80th player picked, and as you can see, in his first game against the Patriots, it was Abdul-Jabbar. They had to work on spelling down there in the Miami training room.
Was Paul in charge of those spellings? Put them on our jerseys? That's what I want to know. No.
First and goal, the full 10 for Miami. Abdul-Jabbar inside the 5. Bubbles picked up by the Dolphins. And to the 1-yard line goes Lamar Thomas. Another fortuitous bounce for Miami.
You know who gets a great block is Charles Jordan, number 88. He gets it to the outside. Number 88 on this play is Charles Jordan. Here comes Abdul-Jabbar to the outside. Jordan's on the inside blocking. Boom, the ball is fumbled. Miami picks it up. Now, there he is on the bottom of the screen, number 88, Jordan. Look at this block. He's just running the linebacker all the way back out of the play. That's a good block.
They may be ruling the ball down by contact at the 3, so there was no fumble ruled, and now timeout taken by Marino and Miami with 7:54 remaining in the half, and Miami threatening to take the lead. Day drawing to a close, the coldest day of the fall here in New England. Temperature will be close to freezing tonight. Second and goal at the 3, Miami tied at 7. Pritchett in motion. It's Abdul-Jabbar again. Touchdown. The second for the rookie. And Miami takes the lead for the first time.
I don't see anything wrong with the way this offensive line is blocking, and they're not going to the left side to Richmond Webb and Sims' side. They're going back the other way. We're Gray and Brown.
That's right. You think they'd go over Richmond Webb, the biggest offensive lineman they have, and they did that in the first meeting. But this time we're seeing all the runs to the right. Again, Karim Abdul-Jabbar just seeing the hole, and it's a big one that time.
Well, he's the man who got them downfield, running the ball 41 yards. Nedney adds the extra point, and Miami moves in front 14-7. You're watching the NFL on NBC.
NFL on NBC is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Call now to enjoy a hot and delicious Domino's Pizza by halftime. For hot and wow, call Domino's now.
Let's take a look at the touchdown. Look at Chris Gray seal off the inside and James Brown kick out on the outside, and the clear lane that Abdul-Jabbar has to run into. Both touchdowns they've scored today have been the exact same play, and look at that hole. Jabbar scores another easy touchdown.
Picked off by Nedney, Troy Brown, and Dave Meggett. It's to Meggett's side at the 13. He stopped shy of the 30-yard line. 7 minutes and 42 seconds remain before the intermission. key plays on the 12-play, 65-yard Miami scoring drive. Charles Jordan rarely used, 13-yard catch. Abdul-Jabbar with a big 15-yard run, and then Abdul-Jabbar 4 for the touchdown. They're keeping the ball away from the New England offense with long scoring drives, Miami. Bledsoe goes to work. Wide open is Troy Brown. Their ticket, Terry Glenn. It's Glenn to midfield at the 50. First down, a 20-yard play.
Terry Glenn does an excellent job of coming across the formation. It's a play-action fake. It draws the defense up a little, creates the big hole behind, and Drew Bledsoe does a good job of finding the open receiver.
You know what Bledsoe said, of all his receivers, even though Glenn's a rookie, he makes the least mistakes, runs great patterns, very smart. On first down, he heaves it long. Intercepted. Terrell Buckley has another pick to the 26. It's his 6th of the year.
You know, we've talked about Bledsoe making such great decisions in the last few games, the last 5 or 6 games. This was really, I mean, a poorly thrown ball. He just throws this thing up for grabs. He just heaves it. Well, no purpose.
Well, the thought was good, Paul, but what happened is the protection was not good enough for him to step up and really throw the ball and get the ball down the field fast enough. And Terrell Buckley says if you put pressure on Drew Bledsoe, he relies too much on his arm. Terrell Buckley sees the ball hanging in the air, comes across, and makes the easy interception. But watch the pressure on him. Watch him sit back. Makes the ball hang in the air too long.
Well, Buckley with his 6th. He was tied for the league lead in interceptions. And with a 14-7 lead, back to Abdul-Jabbar, and he rumbles for about 8 on first down. Hitchcock from the corner to make the tackle.
You know, the thing that really makes that play look so bad at the end of it, there were 3 defenders back there on Glenn.
Well, it's interesting. Remember, Terrell Buckley says he takes a few chances because of his arm, and he says he didn't know whether that excites him or scares him because he can create big plays, but also every once in a while he gives the defense a chance to make a big play.
Well, Bledsoe had been intercepted only twice since the opening game. 2nd and a short 2. Protecting the ball, has the first down at the 37-yard line. So Terrell Buckley, a man once highly criticized by Jimmy Johnson when he was working for the Fox television network, and now leading the league with 6 picks. The former Florida State star who followed Deion Sanders with the Seminoles.
I really like what he said yesterday because he was very confident about it. I mean, he did get the pick, but he said yesterday, you know, I should get a couple. He's got 1. He said I should get 2.
6 minutes left in the half. Marino open underneath this Pritchett, the fullback, and he has about 10. Ted Johnson makes the tackle right at the sticks, the 47-yard line.
Here's a guy, Dick, that I really like is Pritchett. I mean, he doesn't carry the ball very much, but he blocks extremely well, and he's got tremendous hands.
Does that sound familiar? A fullback in a Jimmy Johnson offense.
Yes,
that blocks really well. That makes a lot of catches.
Well, let me think. Who would that be? But Stanley Pritchett. That's why they drafted him, because he doesn't really care about carrying it, block for the runner, and catch a pass every now and then.
He's the moose of the Miami team this week. Irving spikes first carry of the game, rudely met by Todd Collins.
Todd Collins and Ted Johnson.
Ted Johnson, number 52, and Todd Collins, number 59, come up into the gap, and the Patriot coaches say that Ted Johnson, number 52, is their best defensive player week in and week out.
Second year out of Colorado. Todd Collins played at Carson Newman. Jimmy Johnson now brings in Bernie Parmalee, a veteran from Ball State. Abdul-Jabbar apparently being rested. 3rd and 3. The receiver tripped up, and it appeared he was going to break into the clear. Lamar Thomas. Incidental contact is the call.
And I'm going to tell you something. This is a great non-call. Because there's just no way that Lamar Thomas, watch this, when you see what happens. Here comes Lamar Thomas. Watch his feet. They just get tangled up. I mean, he's pushing off with his arm, and that was not intentional. So it's a good non-call.
Back to punt is John Kidd with Dave Meggett inside the 15 for the Patriots. So Buckley's interception not costly to New England. Meggett says stay away from it, and then fields it. So Meggett using a little gamesmanship, trying to give the Miami Dolphins a look that he wasn't going to try to run it back. Timeout. Come back to Foxborough, where the Dolphins lead by a touchdown. A reminder that next Saturday at 2 Eastern, it's an encore presentation. The NutraSweet World Professional Figure Skating Championships. Christy Yamaguchi, Nancy Kerrigan, Brian Boitano, Torval and Dean headline a world-class field of skating stars next Saturday here on NBC. First down, Patriots at their 22, trailing 14-7.
I'll tell you why you know it's against New England, because Bledsoe has not moved from the 13-yard line. He just stayed right there. I'm not going anywhere. I think we have some holding. Yep. I mean, it's amazing. Bledsoe still has not moved from the spot. Look at this. He's looking like holding. Are you kidding me?
41 on offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
Keith Myers guilty of doing too much to help out Martin.
Well, maybe that run caught the Miami defense by surprise, because Keith Myers, number 41, the top of your screen, Miami said the defense, they run away from Keith Myers when he goes in motion. This time they ran behind him. He makes a good block, but he gets his hands outside the defender's shoulder pads.
That was a very clever effort by Martin. Quick toss, complete to Glenn. And the former Buckeyes to the 21. Did that Ohio State team have any good receivers? Terry Glenn, when he was a sophomore, barely played. He was the backup to Chris Sanders, who plays at Houston, and Joey Galloway starring with Seattle. And then he had Eddie George. Well, in fact, Ohio State, when through the years, have produced some solid rookies into the NFL catching the ball. Galloway with 67. You look at the bottom, Glenn, halfway through the season, he projects to having a 74 catch year. Nothing there for Curtis Martin. Slammed down a yard loss at the 20. So that brings up third down. Meggett comes in from the sidelines.
Let's go back to that first play when they ran the ball to Curtis Martin, and you got Keith Myers holding, because Jimmy Johnson told us yesterday they're not going to run to his side.
That's right.
They've only run there twice last week, and both times one was a -1 and the other one was no gain. So they won't run to Keith Myers' side. Well, guess what? Yeah, they did.
Well, they lost 10.
Third down and 12. That's going to be a full start. It was Daryl Gardner who jumped into the backfield, but it looked as if one of the Patriots lurched on that offensive line. Officials will powwow.
But if Daryl Gardner moved first, it should be a penalty on the Miami defense. Now they're going to. Well,
Jefferson doesn't like what he's hearing.
Yes, he's.
No. And I don't know. Maybe they're discussing that proposition. They got a heavy proposition here in the state of Massachusetts on Tuesday. And
Right of snap. We have a neutral zone infraction on the defense. Neutral zone infraction. 5 yards. Third down.
It is Daryl Gardner.
What's number 92, Daryl Gardner, down here at the bottom of the screen. You can see he's going to jump first. And now that makes the receiver, Terry Glenn, number 88, on the outside move. So that should be
good call.
A 5-yard penalty against the defense.
Good call. 88. Bledsoe was so effective with his snap count, he was drawing his own teammates offside as they warmed up before the game. So 3rd and 7. Have the ball inside the Patriot 35.
First time today they threw the coach, right?
Well, first time, but Ben Coates, watch him coming down the field against number 34, Tim Jacobs, just pushing him around because he's so much bigger than Jacobs. But Jacobs makes up for it comes in and strips the ball out of Colt's hands.
Well, that's the one thing that Jimmy Johnson also told us. They said, we're not getting the ball, we're not taking turnovers. We're not taking the ball away like we did at the beginning of the season. This is what we have to get back to. And that's what these guys are taught. The guy catches the ball, strip it.
So leading 14-7. Marino from the 33. Underneath, Abdul-Jabbar. Miami, one of the best in the league in the turnover ratio, a +9 starting today. Surprising Bengals, the leader there, and New England +4. Green Bay is +15, best in the NFL.
But again, Jay was telling us we have not, the last few games we've not been taking the ball away, and now we're coming down to the 2-minute warning, and Miami only has one timeout left.
14-7 Dolphins. Of their 53-man roster, 10 are rookies, Miami, but they've lost one probably for the rest of the year. Jarris McPhail, the word up is that he fractured his left arm. Fracture left arm, Jarris McPhail, and that'll probably cost him the rest of the season. So Johnson, who has McPhail, Abdul-Jabbar, and Pritchett, 3 young running backs, now we'll count on Abdul-Jabbar.
It's amazing, though. I mean, here's a guy, and they're pretty good, 4-4. They're still in the thick of things, and starting sometimes during the year, starting 7 rookies.
2nd and 4, 2 minutes left in the half. Abdul-Jabbar to the 25 and just inside it, where it'll be 3rd and about 1.5 yards. Songapulatelli leading the defensive charge. Then Coates fumbled, giving Miami a chance to build on the 14-7 lead. Meanwhile, Abdul-Jabbar's rushing numbers here in the first half, very impressive in light of how difficult it's been to run for Miami in the last 5 games.
Well, I think it goes back to what Jimmy Johnson told us last night. They match up very well against this New England team, so they feel like they can physically come out here and do some things they probably couldn't even think about doing last week against the Dallas Cowboys.
3rd and 2. Defensive tackle from Texas A&M.
Well, here's where New England should take a timeout, and I think they're going to.
So the Patriots take the timeout. Jimmy Johnson, will he go for the field goal? We'll be right back. We get word that Dan Marino complaining he can't hear the radio call from the sideline. Meanwhile, Jimmy Johnson brings out his field goal unit. Doesn't mean he wouldn't try a fake. He has that all in the playbook. Nedney, this would be a 45-yard attempt into the wind. His longest this year is 39. Rookie gets it on the way. It is no good. Wide to the left. So the Patriots escape an interception, and now Ben Coates fumble. Miami unable to take advantage.
Well, this ball looks, the strings are fine. He just pushes the ball. You know what he was playing on? He put it out to the left, hoping that the wind would bring it back because the wind is blowing from his left to right, and it stayed out there. It didn't come back in.
When they were kicking during warm-ups before the game, the wind was blowing 20 to 30 miles an hour. And Paul, this shot would have gone down the middle before the game, but the wind has died down and did not affect the football that time.
New England takes over with a minute 3 seconds left in the half in good field position at their own 35. Bledsoe dumps it off to Meggett. Meggett gets 11. First down at the 46. Zach Thomas makes the tackle. Hurry up, New England offense. This is where Meggett is such a valuable asset, as our partner Phil Sims well knows. Bledsoe. Troy Brown. Yes, Troy Brown. Brown and Glenn very similar in size. Brown with his 6th catch of the year, 13 yards. Time out as he goes out of bounds, as we remind you to stay tuned for our Domino's Pizza halftime report. Greg Gumbel, Mike Ditka, Joe Gibbs, Chris Collinsworth, Ahmad Rashad. Oh, the official was the defender as Meggett couldn't get around the umpire. Meggett fighting his way through the umpire in such a dangerous position for any official is that umpire spot where you're in the thick of the action.
Bill Parcells was yelling to one of the officials on the sideline, telling the other one to get out of the way. But Dave Meggett, nobody around him, no defender. All of them were at least 10 to 15 yards deep down the field. Drew Bledsoe doing a good job of seeing the underneath receiver wide open.
34 seconds left in the half. Glenn gets a block, and the rookie scrambles to the sidelines. Right at the 30, they mark it. It would appear to be a first down, a 10-yard play. Stop the clock with 28 seconds showing.
What a great block he got from Dave Meggett. Dave Meggett gets to the outside and just hammers.
Yes, he did. But even though he went out of bounds and the clock is stopped, they are not huddling up. Keep the defense in turmoil. Don't give them a chance to regroup. And that's what Drew Bledsoe has done twice in this drive.
Meggett unable to pull that one in. Probably wouldn't have gotten much anyway. 24 seconds left.
Again, no use huddling up if you're the offense. Drew Bledsoe, this way the defense usually doesn't make any changes. They play the same defense you saw in the previous play.
Down the middle, and open is Glenn. First down at the 15. Timeout, New England. Bill Parcells' team trying to rally for a tie before the half ends.
When you look at this thing, Dick, look where Bledsoe puts this ball. It's out in front of the receiver. The only person that can catch it is the receiver. Defender really has no chance. That's a perfect throw.
But a pretty good catch, well covered by Tim Jacobs as Glenn out muscling him for it. His 5th catch of the half for Glenn, who now has 42 on the year. First down at the 15, 19 seconds left. One time. Caught and out of bounds goes Glenn as he's horse-collared at about the 7. Louis Oliver, the defender. 8 yards on the play. 14 seconds remain.
That whole play took 5 seconds.
Bill Parcells sends in 3 men and then calls them back. And I believe that's going to be now they were reaching for the yellow flag, and now they're going to call time.
Timeout.
Miami calls time.
The final charge timeout.
When they saw the 3 substitutes come on, Miami said they're being stuck with that same personnel, Phil. Now,
That's
Jimmy,
right.
That was a wise call.
Well, I think it confused everybody. Drew Bledsoe was calling the plays at the line of scrimmage. He wasn't listening to the sideline, and Parcells, I think, was trying to get in a different play.
Boy, if you still want more football after our doubleheader today, how about Mike Ditka's Alien Guide to Football?
Okay, so you're the quarterback, we're the receivers. Now what? You go long. Yeah. You go to the left. You run a button ball. What about me, coach? You come stand next to me.
Third Rock from the Sun follows our game tonight on NBC. How smooth is Mr. Ditka?
Man, there ain't enough O's in the word for that man. He's got it all. He's got all the moves, doesn't he?
Mikey.
Second down and 2, 14 seconds at the 7-yard line. And the whistle blows it dead. Against whom? Tim Bowen's charge. Was he drawn?
Well, they had actually 2 Miami players. The 2 tackles inside both went off.
Encroachment. Number 95 in the defense. Half the distance to the goal. That'll be a first down.
It's a good job by Drew Bledsoe. Look at the interior linemen of the Miami defense. Bowens and Gardner both jump outside, but Drew Bledsoe going on a long count, trying to get a free play down inside the 10-yard line.
First and goal outside the 3. 14 seconds still remain. Gash and Meggett behind Bledsoe. Into the end zone for Coates. Incomplete. And a flag down in the end zone. Coates could not get around Louis Oliver. Which way did the official see it?
Well, all you have to do is look at Louis Oliver's left arm. And he's got it pushing Coates with his left arm, and he reaches in and knocks the ball down with his right.
In the defense, in the end zone, by rule, the ball is placed at the 1-yard line.
When you don't complain that much you know that you committed pass interference.
Not only that, he never turns around and looks at the ball. He impedes the receiver where the receiver has no chance to come back and get the football. Definitely pass interference.
So they mark it on the 1, 1st and goal. 10 seconds remain. Runner pass. Bledsoe had to throw it away, and a flag is down in the end zone. 6 seconds left. Keith Byers was the man Bledsoe was looking to.
You know why? 12 men on the field for Miami.
Defense, half the distance, still first down.
They had was looking, and they tried to sneak one guy off. Aaron Jones tries to sneak off afterwards.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Couldn't get them all in there, but an extra defensive back, or no, 97, an extra defensive lineman out there.
But after the play, Aaron Jones tries to sneak off the field, but they'd already caught him.
Now they put the 4 seconds back on the clock. 10 seconds. No, now they're taking 3 seconds back. It was down to 6. They put it to 10. Now reduced it to 7. You'll have to figure that one out yourself.
Well, they still have 1 timeout left, so it does give New England a chance to run the football if they want to and call a timeout in this situation.
Curtis Martin. Did he get in? Yes. Touchdown. Well, Bill Parcells, Patriots battle back to tie before halftime.
And this whole drive was set up, Paul and Dick, by the fact that they called timeout down at the other end. With 1 minute and 8 seconds left, they decided to call timeout after 3rd down to give themselves an opportunity to score before halftime.
I like your call on this last call, because if you take a look at the clock with Martin in the end zone, there's still 4 seconds on the clock. They had the opportunity to run a play and to call a timeout. Still wouldn't run the clock out. That was a good call.
You're at home. They won't let the clock run out on you.
Jimmy Terry brought attention to the extra point here, missing 3 this season, but he's good twice today. And with 4 seconds left in the half, it's tied at 14. They got the ball with 1:03 left after the missed field goal by Nedney, and here's the end result. Barely in. Martin right at the goal line.
Curtis Martin just giving a little extra effort and being tough inside, because Miami's defensive line gets some penetration and actually hits him a yard or 2 away from the end zone.
John Burke with a solid block to help Martin in, and Bill Parcells, he knows where his money man is, Drew Bledsoe.
Well, you know, when we looked at the Miami defense in that entire drive, Phil, the safeties were like 20 yards off. They played a true prevent defense. Now they're going to say, well, that's not our prevent. Yes, it is. I always say about the prevent, the reason I don't like it, it prevents the team from getting a field goal and it enables them to get a touchdown. And in this case, all Drew Bledsoe did was just throw underneath the 2 safeties and just march right down the field. He had 1 minute and 19 seconds.
Paul, you're right. The one thing I do not like about the prevent defense, it always allows the offense to get started, get the drive going, you get in some rhythm, and once an offense gets in rhythm, they usually throw some good plays together, and like you say, it gives them a chance to score touchdowns.
That was an impressive drive in 1 minute and 4 seconds, 65 yards. Helped out on a couple occasions by Miami penalties. Vinatieri just splits one down, and final seconds tick away, and that'll be it for the half. So Drew Bledsoe and Dan Marino hooked up in a tight duel, 14 all. We'll send you to our NFL and NBC studio in New York after a message from the NFL and a word from your local station. New England.
Well, one thing about this game, when you look at the 2 turnovers, they should mean something, but the 2 turnovers that Miami got didn't score a point off of, and that's what's bad.
And Abdul-Jabbar compared with Curtis Martin, who led the AFC in rushing last year. 9 for 9 yards for Martin, 2 touchdowns. Abdul-Jabbar chipping in with 71 yards rushing.
Well, Karim Abdul-Jabbar, Miami wants to run the football to help their defense out. New England, really, in all honesty, I don't think they care that much. They know they're going to live and die with the pass, and every once in a while if they have a good running game, so be it. That'll be a little icing on the cake, but they're going to live and die this season with throwing the football and winning some tough games at the end.
We talked to both coaches yesterday, and they both said the same thing. We are so evenly matched. This is going to come down to final possession. They both thought this would be a game won in the final minutes.